I just celebrated an anniversary recently. I am 1 year sober. I noticed that when I quit drinking, my husband started collecting expensive whiskey. Thought that was a little annoying. So I was like, babe, how come when I quit drinking, you started collecting whiskey? And he was like, I have been trying to collect it the whole time. Oopsies. I am from Wisconsin, though. That's just what we do. We drank. We have t-shirts in our airport that say, drink Wisconsinably. My first shot of hard liquor was Everclear. If you don't know what that is, congratulations. You have homework. It's 190 proof grain liquor. And that being your first shot is a lot like losing your virginity to a traffic cone. Everything else is smooth sailing. When I was 15, I gave up drinking for Lent. But that was too hard, so I gave up Catholicism instead. And the priest wasn't sad to see me go because I was not his type. I did quit drinking, but I wasn't convinced in the beginning I was an alcoholic because you go to these AA meetings and you hear the craziest shit. Like the first one I was at, this woman was like, 7 years ago, I was giving myself an abortion in an alley with a water pick. I was like, whoa. You can use a water pick? I could have saved so much money. Talk about a life hack. And if you drink a lot and you're not sure if you're an alcoholic, just pay attention, because the world will give you clues. One of my clues was a country music song called When I Taste Tequila. And the premise of the song is every time this guy tastes tequila, he thinks of one person. He thinks of his ex-girlfriend and all the fun times they had together. And I'm like, whoa, when I taste tequila, it's just a montage of dicks. Just like the 2008 to 2011 Marquette men's basketball team. College was a blackout. In a couple of different ways. I did hear from a guy recently that I used to hook up with in the NBA, and I thought he was going to be calling to talk about the glory days, the hoary days. But instead he called to tell me that now he's a Jehovah's Witness, and I should repent. And I started laughing, and he was like, why are you laughing? And I was like, this is just really hard to hear coming from someone who peed in my mouth. And he was like, Brittany, this is life-changing stuff. And I was like, so is that threesome we had with your cousin Keith. I will say this, fucking a white guy's like eating a salad. You don't do it because it's the most filling option. You do it because it's good for you. My husband's white, so now after we fuck, he's like, I'm a salad. I do feel bad for my husband, though. You guys are like, we do too. Because I got sober in our marriage, and I used to be a very frisky drinker. But I do give him credit. He does try and keep my inner hoe alive. The other day we were stuck in traffic, and he's like, yo, babe, give me roadhead. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. He was like, why not? I was like, it's broad daylight. We're in standstill traffic. Everyone would see me. And he was like, man, you're no fun anymore. And I was like, I'm driving. I love my husband and I love being married, but I do feel like married sex gets a little boring. I was talking to my girlfriend about this the other day, and she's like, have you ever heard of Sexy Stranger? And I was like, no, what's that? And she's like, it's where you dress up like strangers, and then you go out like strangers, and then you go home and fuck like strangers. And I was like, oh, have you ever heard of a real stranger? Because that's who I'm trying to fuck. You know why the Titanic was the best love story of all time? It's because they met, they fucked for 3 days, and then Jack died. Sign me up for that cruise. I'll leave you guys with this. I feel like relationships are hard in general, even if you're not married, but I do think they're harder for girls, because as girls, you're raised being told all this fantastical shit about what your love life is gonna be like. Your dad calls you princess, and you're like, oh my god, there's gonna be a prince and a horse and a castle, I'm in. And my dad just called me squirt. And I couldn't even live up to that.